Is Donald Trump a fascist, or is it the people who voted him in and the people around him? Check this out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. Dave in Federal Way, Washington. Hey, Dave, what's up?
Hey, not too much, Tom. I want to try to add to this topic or this thread about how close we are to fascism. And, you know, all right, it's really getting deep, Tom. And we got to, I'm going to say something that's going to sound controversial, but I think it's time that we maybe start talking about it. Was Adolf Hitler really a fascist? Or did Adolf Hitler recognize, did he have the political savvy to recognize the German people are fascists? And I can use this fascism as a vehicle to enrich and empower myself. I think Mussolini may have actually been a genuine fascist, but Hitler I was never so sure about. And I'll tell you the truth, I'm not so sure about Donald Trump either. I think Donald Trump, I think it's the people under him that are driving this machinery that is getting us precariously close to fascism. And let me explain. Trump's criticisms of Fauci have been blunt and generalized and ridiculous, okay? Fauci doesn't know what he's talking about, and he leaves it at that. But the White House is systematically disassembling everything Fauci is saying about this disease. And I see a pattern, like you go to Pompeo over in state. Pompeo is antagonizing Iran. Iran just moved over land 1,000 kilometers, a 20,000-ton Kilo-class submarine. All right, the Kilo-class submarine that they bought from Russia is designed to do anti-submarine, anti-surface ship warfare out into the deep. Well, it's basically it's no threat to the United States, okay? And I don't want some conservative calling up and saying that. But my point is, they are, they could start a spark that would ignite a brush fire that could really empower Donald Trump and his corporate cronies, for lack of a better word, to really implement fascism in the United States, law and order. You know, we must all be rowing in the same direction because our national security is at risk.
I think that we need to refine our language here, Dave. Fascism is the merger of state and corporate interests combined with belligerent nationalism. Mussolini understood that. He invented it. He dissolved parliament and replaced it. Every congressional district sent a representative of their largest corporation, and that's how the government of Italy was run throughout Mussolini's time. That's fascism. What you're describing is tyranny. It's variously described as authoritarianism or strongman government or I like the word tyranny. And I think that you've got two things going on at the same time here. You've got Donald Trump and his impulses, which are tyrannical. He wants to be the next, Augustus. He wants to be the guy who is the ultimate ruler. He wants to be king. He thinks he is, in fact. He thinks he has absolute power. And he's got Stephen Miller saying his authority shall not be questioned. And then around Trump, yeah, and Trump is like stealing everything that's not nailed down too. Now you've got a prosecutor looking into Ivanka Trump, ripping off money out of the inaugural fund, and laundering it via their hotel in Washington D.C. So you've got Trump, basically being a grifter and a tyrant, but around him you've got these lobbyists. He's put lobbyists in charge of virtually every federal agency. And if not lobbyists, then former lawyers for industry, like Ajit Pai with the FCC, or even former heads of industry, like the former head of Eli Lilly, Alex Azar, is now the director of HHS. So those are the fascists. They're the ones who are in the process of merging government functions and private enterprise in such a way that basically government keeps private enterprise going and private enterprise then keeps government in power, that particular government. So we've got two things going on at once. And I think that Hitler was principally a tyrant, just like Trump is, and Mussolini was principally a fascist. I hope I'm not splitting hairs here, Dave, because I think these are really two very, very different things that just happen to be happening at the same time.
No, I don't think you're splitting hairs, but let me just add, Karola Talfa was Saddam Hussein's uncle. I think he taught Saddam Hussein to recognize when the population is vulnerable to this strongman authoritarianism. I think Fred Trump has taught Donald Trump, but Donald Trump doesn't have the intellect to put the mechanisms in place. All those people you mentioned, Azar and all the rest, they do have the intellect to put the mechanisms in place.
Exactly.
And I think the American people have an appetite to just be told what to do from a central authority, especially if there is a war against a Muslim state. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
See, I don't think it was Fred Trump, Dave. I think it was Roy Cohn. And now it is Bill Barr. I think Bill Barr is the puppet master right now.